Hey guys, welcome back to the Fergie Time podcast. Today I'll be sharing with you my Matchweek 2 Premier League predictions. Quickly, before I jump into my Matchweek 2 predictions, I want to do a recap of Matchweek 1. In Matchweek 1, I got 5 out of 8 predictions correct, and some notable upsets included Palace beating Southampton and Everton beating Spurs. Also, major shoutouts to Tactical Manager TV and Ryan's Career Mode, who correctly predicted 6 out of the 8 matches correct. If you guys would like to be featured in next week's video, make sure to leave your score predictions for Matchweek 2 down below in the comments, and the person who gets the most score predictions correct will receive a shout out. For our first match, we have Everton versus West Brom. Everton are coming off an impressive 1-0 win over Tottenham Hotspur, and in that match, their key signings of Hamas, Alon, and Decore all played brilliantly. The next step for Everton, in my opinion, will be converting a higher percentage of their chances to goals. Richarlison struggled with his finishing in that match, so he will need to pick it up versus a West Brom side coming off a 3-0 loss to Leicester. Really struggled and just didn't get enough of the ball to create chances going forward. They lack the forward presence up top as well. So for me, this is an easy pick. I have Everton winning 2-0 on odds of 1-2. Leeds versus Fulham. Leeds are coming off a 4-3 loss to Liverpool where they played some great football. Their rotational attack worked very well against Liverpool's high press. And in particular, I thought Calvin Phillips was great. His work rate in the middle of the park was brilliant. And overall, just the work rate, the fitness of the Leeds players really impressed me. I think Fulham will be a completely different challenge. I think Fulham will be a lot more passive than Liverpool, sitting back, and they will be harder to break down, so offering a new challenge for Leeds. Fulham, in my opinion, they got picked apart by Arsenal last week. Not terrible in possession, but they're very predictable going forward because they only have one real option up top, and that is Mitrovic, of course. For me, I have it ending 2-1 to Leeds on odds of 8-13. Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. Manchester United will be making their 2020-2021 Premier League debut this Saturday. Considering the amount of time they have had off, I expect this United team to come in both fresh and hungry for this one. I also would say don't expect this United team to be that much different from last year. I expect them to be relatively solid defensively and then to win the ball and counter using the pace of their players up top and the creativity they have with Bruno and Pogba versus the Palace side that got a big 1-0 win over Southampton. They didn't play great football, but defensively were sound as they have been under Roy Hodgson. And then up top, they have Zaha, who has just been brilliant. His form is great, and he's playing some great football, so he's a force to be reckoned with. That said, I have it ending to Manchester United 3-1 on odds of 3-10. Arsenal versus West Ham. Week 1 couldn't have gone any better for Arsenal. Gabriel was brilliant. Aubameyang was brilliant. Even El Neni was brilliant. This Arsenal team has clearly bought in to what Arteta is preaching. They defend just as hard as they attack now, something that couldn't have been said under Unai Emery, versus a West Ham side coming off a 2-0 loss against Newcastle United, and this was a typical West Ham performance. Not finishing their chances, and just very poor defensively. Defensive lapses cost them the game, and for me, this is quite an easy prediction as well. I have it ending 2-0 to Arsenal on odds of 8-15. Southampton versus Tottenham Hotspur. Southampton have not had the best of starts to this season, losing to Palace in the Premier League and then Brentford in the EFL Cup this past week. They're doing well in possession, they're dominating games, however they're struggling to finish their chances, so we've got to see if Danny Ings can come alive in this one against Spurs. Versus a Spurs side that was poor against Everton. They lack creativity, were uncomfortable in possession, and honestly struggled to supply both Harry Kane and Son up top. They will have Bale and Reguilón joining them through the transfer market, but they won't be available for this match. So I have it ending 2-1 to Tottenham on odds of 11-8. Next up, we have Newcastle versus Brighton. Newcastle coming off that 2-0 win versus West Ham United. While football under Steve Bruce at Newcastle hasn't been the most beautiful thing, they do have a serious squad this year. The likes of Wilson, Fraser, and St. Maximin are all dangerous attackers that could cause problems for Brighton's defense versus a Brighton side that played very well against Chelsea. However, they did lose 3-1, and I think what it came down to was Brighton's open attacking style of play is not very effective against bigger clubs that can just attack with their talented players right back down the middle. For me, some key players for Brighton include the likes of Lamptey, Lallana, Maupay, Trossard, and Dunk. And for me, I think this will be a very close match. I have it ending a 1-1 draw on odds of 21-10. Chelsea versus Liverpool. Chelsea coming off that 3-1 win against Brighton. However, it was not their best performance. They looked a bit clunky, and considering it was their first time playing together, it wasn't terrible. Some positives to grasp from the match. Werner looked very good, and then also coming up, Pulisic will be returning from injury for this one, so that's obviously a massive boost. Versus the Liverpool team coming off a 4-3 win against Leeds, where they looked so-so themselves. I mean, their defense was shocking. Van Dijk and Trent, at times I was like, what are they doing? However, their front three were brilliant, and I think their front three will be able to carry them past Chelsea in this one. I have it ending 3-2 to Liverpool on odds of 6-5. Leicester City versus Burnley. Leicester City coming off that 3-0 win against West Brom in a dominant performance. In the coming weeks, they expect players to return from both injury and suspension, so that will give them a massive boost. And in my opinion, their two most important players are Jamie Vardy and Ndidi. Vardy provides that attacking presence up top, and without him, they'd be in whirlwinds of trouble, in my opinion. And Ndidi is that presence in front of the back line, and in my opinion, is just an all-out baller. Versus the Burnley side with their first game in the Premier League this season. Don't expect any drastic changes from Burnley based on last season. I think they'll be, for the most part, a very similar team. Disciplined defensively, just have a great mindset, and on top of that, it will be hard to break down. I think they'll look to rough up Vardy up top and really make it hard for him. And overall, I do have questions about their attack. I think their attacking players are pretty so-so. So I had this match ending a 1-1 draw on odds of 3-1. Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Aston Villa will kick off their Premier League season this Monday. They brought in Ollie Watkins this summer, a prolific goal scorer from the Championship, and I think he'll be a great player. That said, I have mainly questions about their defense. I mean, they conceded the second most goals last season in the Premier League, so had they improved in that department, we've got to wait and see. Versus the Sheffield side coming off a loss to Wolves, they really let the match go in the first 5 minutes. I think teams have started to figure out the Sheffield team, and overall I have questions about their attack. I don't think McBurney and Sharp are the ideal pairing up top, and they don't really have anyone to replace them. So I had this match ending a 2-1 win to Sheffield on odds of 7-4. For our final match, we have Wolves versus Manchester City. Wolves are coming off a 2-0 win against Sheffield, where they played in a 3-4-3, and it actually suited them quite well. However, I think against Man City, using that same formation could put them in heaps of trouble. I think they concede way too much possession. That said, Wolves have a really good attacking player in Raul Jimenez, who I think could be a game changer, versus a Manchester City side kicking off their Premier League campaign. And I think the key for City, not only in this match, but this season, will be the return of Aguero. When they have Aguero on the side, they are so hard to beat, and I think they will dominate possession in this one. I have it ending 2-0 to Man City on odds of 1-2. Thank you guys for watching. Down below in the comments, make sure to leave your Match Week 2 Premier League score predictions so you can be featured in next week's video. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button and subscribe for more amazing football content. We will end it there. Thank you, and take it easy. Peace.
I see the blue in her eyes from the sunshine. See the purple in her heart when it's nighttime. She just wanna be in her right mind. She couldn't give a damn about the limelight. So orchestrate your